Hello, congratulations on your CindyLouPins purchase. Today in this video, we're going to be making the basic yellow emoji base. In future videos, we'll make the face to make actual emojis. Now your CindyLouPins kit, this one is the sunglasses emoji, and it includes plastic canvas mesh, yellow felt, yellow yarn, black yarn, and the pin back. So right now we only need the yellow yarn and the mesh. We'll put the rest aside. When we're done, the back of the pin will look like this, and the front will look like this. The needle is not included in this set. You can get your own needles from craft stores such as Michael's or Joann's. The 6-pack was, I believe, $2. These 2 packs were maybe 99 cents. The important thing is that it needs to be size 16. Okay, size 16 needles. And once you buy them, they're very cheap and they last pretty much forever, unless you snap it in half or something. So first we're going to thread the needle. So for that we pinch the yarn and then push it through the hole. This can be a little bit difficult sometimes. There we go. Okay. Now we want to leave a little tail of a few inches. And we're going to start in the upper left corner and go from behind the mesh to forwards towards you. At the end, we want to leave a little bit left over. We're going to sew back over this to lock it in place later, but for now, just leave it behind the mesh. So from here, we'll go to the left to cover that side. We'll go back through the same hole and cover the top corner, and then the same thing to cover the top side. From there, we're going to go across the row. Go from behind and forward, behind, forward towards you, and over the top. So we're just going to go across the row that way. Now when you get to this corner, you're going to do the same that we did on the first corner. Go through multiple times. We're going to cover the top. Then we'll cover this corner. And we'll go through again. And cover this side. Now, when you're sewing, the yarn tends to get itself tangled up. So about once a row, we want to just hold this up and let the yarn untangle itself. See how it's spinning? So from here, we're going to cover the corner, and then we're going to go back across. So I'm here in the top right corner, pull through. Now this time I'm going left and down. So up through the back of the mesh, left one hole, down one hole, and push through. Now this little tail at the beginning, we want to keep it out of our way for now. We're going to deal with it in a minute. We'll go back across this row. Now your yarn is 70 inches long, so right now it might feel like it takes forever to pull it through, but that'll get quicker as we go on because the yarn will get shorter. Okay, so a couple more. Now I'm almost at the end. Okay, we want to cover the corners again. So for this one I'm going to go around, since I'm currently behind, I'm going to go around the top and down. since we're near the end of the row, I want to untangle my yarn again. Now, doing this at the end of every row will help prevent a lot of knots. Okay, so we'll cover this one now. We'll get each side, top, corner, and side. And maybe if I want to do one more, maybe I feel like it's not fully covered, then we can do one more. Okay, now we're going to move down to this one, cover this side, and then we're going to deal with that little tail in the back. So this time we're going over to the right, so up one to the right one. Now this little tail, we're going to stretch it across, and we're going to sew it and lock it into place. So we'll go here, the next row, up one to the right one. Now when we look from behind, we want to make sure we're locking this in. So the next one is right here, and if we flip it over, we want the tail to be through this loop. So that we can lock it into place there. We don't want the tail running away and trying to unravel our whole project here. Okay, so again, if I flip it over, see the tails going through the loop, lock it in. Continue down the row that way. Now sometimes this happens, we get stuck on the corner. For that, just loosen it and then pull and you're fine. If you look closely here, we can see the stitching going over the tail in the back. We're going to continue that way till the end of the row. If you have any excess, you can just cut it off. Once you get 3, 4, 5 stitches, that tail's locked in, it's not going anywhere. Okay, now I need to cover this corner again. I'm going to go over the top and through. Okay, and then we'll do this side. And then we'll get caught on the camera while we're at it. You shouldn't have that problem at home. Okay? Top, corner, side. You can see how I'm using my back fingers to hold it in place and loop it around. We'll get this side. We'll get this corner here, we missed a stitch. Now be careful because sometimes you can get all tangled up and it's a mess. So just basically be aware of what you're doing and you'll be fine. Okay, so we're at the end of the row again. So we're going to hold this up. Let it... Okay, there was no detangling to do that time, that's good. And from there basically we're going to continue and go back and forth. So let's go to this corner. Now, it doesn't matter what your back looks like, because remember we're going to cover it with felt and a pin, of course, and no one will see it. So if your back is a little bit messy, as mine is, that's fine. The front is what you really want to worry about. So now, same thing, I'm going to go back across this row. You want to be careful that you're getting into the right holes. Now this time we're going left and down. Now if you do get into the wrong hole, for example, say I want to go into this hole, but I accidentally end up in this one. If you just start to go through and you realize the needle's in the wrong place, just pull it back out. But if you actually go all the way through, you can see that stitch is wrong, then you want to pull the yarn to the corner and use the needle. Be careful not to go through the yarn. Pull it back through, and then you can continue. If it gets even more complicated than that, then you need to unthread the needle, pull the yarn back through, and then rethread the needle, and then you can continue. So from here, basically, it's just a matter of going back and forth. Just be aware of what you're doing, and you'll be fine. See? It's so easy to get caught in that corner. I don't want to do that. There we go. Now here's one that is about halfway done. You can see we're going back and forth, back and forth. Here's what it looks like when it's completely done. And there's one more issue we need to address, and that is, what do we do with the extra? So for that, we're going to flip it over and basically just tuck it through. So I've got some stitches here. We can tuck it through there, and that locks the extra in place. And we've got a stitch over here. We can tuck it through here too. And this is the back, of course, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. And then from there we can cut it off, and there we go. Now in future videos we'll be discussing how to make the face and the actual emoji part. So happy stitching, and I'll see you in a future video.